the European Father and Son Golf Championships, sponsored by golfonline.co.uk. Welcome to the 2016 European Father and Son Golf Championships on Sky Sports. 50 teams from 11 countries are here in Spain for the 9th edition of this fantastic event. A chance to spend some family time away from the course and quality father and son time on it, competing for the scratch and handicap trophies across 3 rounds of tournament golf. It's an eclectic golfing field gathered here in Andalusia. The 2015 Scratch champions Gary and Justin Milliner are back to defend their title against a whole host of great teams, including the US champions Brian and Bryce Kendrick from Tennessee and Italy's top father and son team, the Rocciolis. And the popularity of this event is underlined by the presence of European Tour player Matthew Southgate, making time in his busy schedule to mount a third challenge for this title alongside Dad Ian. The Handicap Trophy should also be an entertaining 3 days of golf, with plenty of new faces here to join some of the regulars. And we're also making history in 2016 as the first ever daughter to play in the event. Emily Jolly joins Grandad Peter out on the fairways. So plenty of fantastic golf to look forward to then, and we're spreading the love across 2 shows on Sky Sports. And here's what we've got for you. In Programme 1, emotions run high as the father and son pairs break rank to play for bragging rights in our annual Lads v Dads competition within a competition. Can the dads take revenge for last year's beating?
And today's winners are the Lads!
The result of this year's hotly contested Lads v Dads competition coming up shortly. There'll be highlights coverage of some superb golf in the first 2 rounds, with a few teams just flying to the top of the leaderboards here in Andalusia. We'll meet some of the father and son teams and families for their take on the event during round 2.
I actually think we're part of a family. You know, you come in here and you're so welcomed by everybody. Every single person becomes a new family member to you, really.
All of which will set the scene for Programme 2 and full highlights coverage of the final round of this year's championships with the titles on the line. Matthew Southgate talks to us about family ties and life on the European Tour.
It's a roller coaster being a golfer. I don't think I'd be where I am in the world of golf without my dad.
I think at first you're like a rabbit in the headlights. You sort of see sort of Henrik Stenson walk past, you're like, oh, there's Henrik Stenson.
And we'll join the traditional party atmosphere around the 18th green as family and friends gather to cheer the guys home. And we find out who gets to be crowned this year's champions at the 2016 European Father and Son Golf event. And it's all here on Sky Sports. The teams are gathered in the province of Cadiz, situated on the Atlantic coast of Spain in the southwest of Andalusia. Many of the players travel with their families, and everyone is based here at the beautiful coastal town of Costabelena. The tournament is played over 54 holes at 2 European Q-School venues, round 1 at the Sherry course in Jerez, with round 2 and the final round staged at the majestic Costabelena Ocean Championship course. This region of Spain is the coastline most closely associated with the Battle of Trafalgar, and particularly famous for a number of things. Its sherry, the Atlantic Ocean wildlife, equestrian pursuits, and of course, flamenco. This week though, the focus is on which teams can dance their way into contention for the 2016 European Father and Son Golf Championships. Last year's event was very special indeed. In the handicap tournament, English team David and George Mills rewrote the history books, adding another trophy to their 2013 Scratch triumph and 2014 handicap victory. Almost out of contention on day 3, they stormed to a 5-birdie final round to set a clubhouse total of 124 points that in the end nobody could quite match. Nearest challengers Phil and Nathan Dyke did have a shot at catching them, Dad Phil needing to hole this putt at 18 to force a playoff. But he missed, leaving them as runners-up and the Mills as the most successful team in the history of this event.
What a week, eh? Yeah, we were a long way back, but I thought today the golf course was set up hard today, and I said to George, we just stick in there, you know, funny things can happen on the last day of a tournament, and we really got it going. We had 4 birdies on the trot, we had 5 birdies in 7 holes actually around the turn, so that got us back into the tournament, I think. We've hung on in there and done it, so amazing, brilliant. Very proud of him, very proud.
The Mills can't be here in Spain to defend their title. This year, son George is in Florida, trying out for golf scholarships, and we wish him all the best, which means we're going to have a new name on the handicap trophy in 2016. Here to defend their Scratch title, though, are pro Gary Milner and son Justin. It was an exceptional performance by the team last year as they controlled the tournament from the front on the final day, ending with a show-stopping putt from Dad Gary to close the deal at 18, leaving the Milners as comfortable winners on 14 under, claiming the Scratch title and an invite to the US Father and Son tournament. We spoke to the defending champions about their goals for this year, that trip to play in the USA, and their memories from 2015.
You need to have a little bit of momentum, and that's what we had. We started off making birdies on every day, and it just kept going. It was a good week. We had some fortunate times, definitely. We had some occasions where it could have gone sideways, but it didn't, so it was okay.
It was just good fun, you know. We were going nicely. We're just a good team, so that is usually quite steady. He just plays his pars around, plays like 14 pars, and I'm just going birdie, double bogey, birdie. He's just a fantastic golfer, so it makes it easier for me to just give it a whack and just hit it as hard as I can and get the birdies going.
We entered the tournament really because Justin is a good player. I've always been a steady player. I thought we had a chance to be competitive, but in the end it's not really to do with the golf, it's to do with just being with your son, being with everyone else, because it's like a family. It is a family when you come here. That's really what it's all about. Well, after winning the tournament last year, we were invited to go to Myrtle Beach to play in America. We took that on. We wanted to do that. We played fairly well, 21 under par, and our American friends here, the Kendricks, beat us. It was tight, but unfortunately they came out on top. We wanted to beat them because of the Ryder Cup aspect, and unfortunately we lost, and the Ryder Cup team lost as well, so we had a bad omen then for our Ryder Cup team. I think we're capable of defending. It's really about whether we can make some putts, because putting is really the main thing that either keeps us back or moves us forward. So yeah, I think we can. I think there's definitely some good opposition. Matthew Southgate, European Tour player, so you know we all know about him, how good a year he's had, but we think we've got a chance here.
It's just nice to be in a competition, just playing against all these quality golfers, trying to compete with these guys, what I like to do in golf. And I think we can definitely win if we play our best golf, but we need to play our best golf and we need to get the balls going into the hole, and then we definitely got a chance. But we just want to have fun, go out there every day, have a nice time, and then see how it ends up at the end.
Back to the 2016 event now then, where Sherry Golf in Jerez will host the Charity Day and then round 1 of the European Father and Son Golf Championship, with the second and final round staged at the Costa Ballena Ocean Golf Club. And here's a reminder of how this tournament works. All teams automatically play in both the Scratch and Handicap tournaments simultaneously, but no one pair can win both titles. So by the end of the final round, a champion will be crowned in each category. And it doesn't end there either. The teams not in contention for the main trophies on the last day go into their own competition for the Norman Taylor Plate, starting off the 10th tee at Costa Ballena. It's a better ball stable for competition, and during the highlights coverage we'll also keep you updated on how the pairs scored against par. Plenty up for grabs then in a busy golfing week, starting with the Charity Day in aid of Crohn's and inflammatory bowel disease, a round of golf that also included this year's Lads v Dads contest. Sherry Golf hosted, and the individual winner was 14-year-old Adam Durband, with a little guidance from Dad Keith, a young man who took up golf only 18 months ago, inspired by the Open Championship and a chance meeting with Sandy Lyle.
I was at the Open at the Royal Liverpool because that's right by where we live, so that was 2 years ago. And when I was there on a practice day, there was a guy coming down the course, and it was obviously Sandy Lyle. And I was probably the last person there on the practice day, and he invited me down on the course, and I chose the club for him, and I was pretending to be his caddy, and that's what got me inspired for it. So
it's moments like that that are priceless, aren't they?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I've played the game for a long time, but Adam's only been sort of new to the sport over the last 2 years, and incidents like that, we went to the Open for a week, and for Sandy to invite him in under the ropes, and then actually to give him the right club, and then Sandy to sign a ball for him, it's just got him inspired, and I just can't keep him off the course now. He loves practicing every time he gets a chance, so I say, you still got to keep doing the schoolwork, but golf is something he's really enjoying, and he's inspired me again.
It was certainly an inspiring round from Adam. If this putt had dropped at 4, his final tally would have been even more impressive. The 22 handicapper making his way around the testing Sherry course with 6 net birdies for a winning total of 40 points to claim the first trophy of the 2016 tournament. A great start for the father and son debutant. At the Welcome Drinks charity evening hosted back at the Elba Hotel Costa Bellena, the players and families finished the day off with a fundraising raffle and auction, eventually raising over £3,000 for the Crohn's and Inflammatory Bowel Disease charity. And so to the first trophy to be awarded at this year's tournament, presented to the Charity Day winner by tournament director Toby Marsden.
And this year's charity champion, young Adam Durband with 40 points.
A special moment for the Durband family, making their debut and quite an impression at this year's European Father and Son Championships. Then to the moment everyone was waiting for as Toby announced the Lads v Dads result for 2016. The scores were added together for all the fathers and all the sons at the charity day, the players dividing into their respective camps to await the big result.
One team has 1,181 points. The other team has 1,307 points. And I can tell you that this year's winners of the Lads versus Dads competition, and still...
Confirmation then, the lads take back-to-back victories, and didn't they let the dads know it? The dads gutted for the second year in a row. Come on, gents, you've got to get your act together to avoid even more grief from the lads at the 10th anniversary event next year. So as the sun set on a very successful charity day, it was time for thoughts to turn to the 2016 European Father and Son Golf Tournament proper. Join us after the break for some round one action here in Andalusia, for some of the lows, the highs and the laughs of tournament golf as the teams begin their challenge for this year's trophies, right here on Sky Sports. Welcome back to the European Father and Son Golf Championships from Andalusia in southern Spain. 2 trophies up for grabs this week in the handicap and the scratch events across this 54-hole tournament. The teams headed to Sherry Golf in Jerez for round 1, and there was a big tournament atmosphere at the practice range as the players prepared to begin their challenge for honours in 2016. Then it was out to the tee for the shotgun start, and before the action got underway, we spoke to Sherry Golf's commercial director, Andreas Wolf.
Sherry Golf was opened in 2004, so we are almost 12 years old. Since the beginning, our main idea was the golf. You know, we don't have any housing developments or anything like that. We are just focused on playing golf. We are delighted to host the European Father and Son Championship. We had the Spanish Amateur Open Championship already 5 times. We had also the Q School here for 4 years, and the Volvo Masters Amateur, European Senior Tour, many tournaments. So very good for us because people feel that this course is what they need for big tournaments, you know.
Sherry Golf's general manager Emilio sent the maroon up into the Andalusian sky to signal the start of this year's event. Let's get to the action. Another European father and son championships is underway. Matt Southgate with his second shot into their first hole, the 18th. And this is what I love about this event. A 22 handicapper won this year's Charity Day, but Matt Southgate, European Tour Pro, won last year's Charity Day with a round of 8 under. So he knows he can go low at Sherry Golf, and he's going to need to get their challenge off to a good start. The Southgates then playing alongside last year's European scratch champions, the Milliners, and that's a good start from son Justin. Oh, but that's what it's all about. Fathers and sons out there playing this great game of golf together, and the Southgates looking pretty relaxed. Second year at this tournament for Robin Hood Golf Club pair Alex Ford and Dad Richard. Their second hole of this year's tournament. Oh, how about that? Alex chips in for an eagle, 4 points to take them to 6 and 2 under the card after 2 holes. Justin Milliner with a putt for a birdie start, and as the pros will tell you, these are the putts that need to drop if you want to win tournaments up and after it straight away. So Justin and Dad Gary are going to have to settle for a par at the first hole. The defending champions then off to a tidy enough start. Southgate with a partial read, I guess, from that side of the green. Touch of movement from left to right. He struck it firmly, taking the break out, and just wanders past the hole. So looking like pars for the Southgates and the Milliners at their first hole. James Weeks and 11-year-old son Tom making their debut at the father and son tournament this year. Loves to draw the ball and moving it from right to left quite beautifully. What a shot from James Weeks. A measure of his focus on winning this title at the third attempt. Matthew Southgate taking a little while to line this putt up and rolls it in for a par start. Back to 4, even par through the first 3 holes with 6 points, but James and Tom Weeks have this putt to go 1 under the card. Big break from right to left, and too big a break, I'm afraid, for Dad James. So a tap in for 2 points to stay level on 8 points through 4 holes. Son Charles Bradley in the buggy, Dad Gareth with his second shot into 16, and they have 16 points through 7 holes, so 2 under for this experienced father and son pair, and that's another very good shot from Gareth. Swedish pro Andreas Strandberg and son Fredrik looking to make an impression on their debut at this tournament. They've already birdied the 17th, their first hole. He's a big personality, Andreas, and that's a lovely shot from the man they call Strandy. The 4th, first hole for Keith Durband and Charity Day winner son Adam, and I hear on the grapevine that the Cordy Golf Club man is a bit deadly with wedge in hand.
Go in.
So it wasn't just a rumour. Point proved. Nearly a dream start for the Durbans. Playing alongside the Strandbergs, a team from my neck of the woods, Royal Eastbourne's Jack Giddens and the pro at Beauport Park in Hastings, Dad Charles. And a couple of very nice chips at 18. Now don't forget, everyone playing the scratch and handicap trophies simultaneously, so Jack still has that putt in the handicap competition for a net birdie. This though for a straight par for 9 handicapper Keith Durband at 4. Well done, Dad. Tidy start then for the Durbans, keeping that momentum going from the Charity Day. Now at 18, Dad Andreas Strandberg has a putt to stay at 1 under, but a chance here for son Fredrik to take some pressure off if he can hold this. And he does, right on cue. Well, they're not backward in coming forward, this pair. And there we go. Sun's out, guns out. And can Jack Giddens fire this one in for a net birdie in the handicap competition? That would take them to 5 points. Well done. But alongside pro Dad Charles, their sights very firmly set on the scratch trophy. 4 points, level par through 2. Swedish team John Falk and Dad Anders, familiar faces at the European father and son. No strangers to the leaderboard either, and they are flying again. 18 points, 4 under through 7, 4 birdies, and nearly, oh so nearly, a 5th. 3-time winners of the US Father and Son Championships from Knoxville, Tennessee, Brian Kendrick, and about to hit his tee shot at 4, son Bryce. And the big question, can the Americans get to grips with this European Championships at their second attempt? Not bad. History being made today. Emily Jolly and Grandad Peter getting lots of attention as the first ever daughter and granddad to play in this tournament. +1 so far, so not bad. Well, just like father Andy Jolly, Emily showing a nice touch with the wedge, and I can tell you she holed that putt for a great up and down. And how's this for a start? William Nimmo and Dad Nigel, 2 birdies on their first 2 holes at 16 and 17. Oh, make it 3 from 3 for the Canny Chesterley Street team. What a start. 9 points, 3 under. The Nimmo's flying. The Bradleys at 16 with this putt to join the Nimmo's on 3 under. Not this time, but there will be more chances, that's for sure. Reimer Smith and his tee shot at 4 with Dad Joe. They won the 2011 European Championship scratch title, playing alongside the Kendricks today, which should make for some good golf. Oh, stand corrected. That's an awesome shot. We spoke to the American pair, Brian and Bryce Kendrick, ahead of today's first round, a team that just edged out the European champions, the Milliners, to claim the US title.
We had a good battle this year with the European champions, the Milliners, who came across and really had a really good tournament. Played probably the best we've played. Shot 26 under and just edged out the European champions this year. For me, it's spending time with him over here, working on his game. He's getting so much better, and also just the camaraderie. They're a great bunch of folks here, and we've made some really good friends. Winning the American tournament's a pretty big deal. Yeah. But being here with them, and hopefully we can play well enough this week to be competitive, if not win it.
I picked up the game when I was in high school and got good in about 3 or 4 years, and got a scholarship to play at a Division I university, and played for 4 years there, and I will hope to pursue a career in it after I finish grad school this year.
Now, Brian, over in the UK, we call that having a ringer on your team, so you hope your son's going to come through with you here.
Well, yeah, it's all about your partner. I don't deny that. We know who the golfer in the family is. At one time it was me, but no longer.
And how do you play these days?
I'm a one handicapper. I'm not bad for a 60-year-old man.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
So, I play okay. Probably I notice there's a little twinge of nerves at times that he doesn't have. Okay. I try to remind him occasionally, hey, you're 22, I'm 60, okay?
What is so special about this event, Bryce?
Not every sport you can play with your dad. It's like my little brother that plays football. There's no father-son football games, and I got numerous texts, Twitters, Instagrams, everybody saying, good luck and bring it back, and to do it with him is very special.
Gentlemen, well done. Play well. Enjoy your tournament.
Thank you.
Back to the action now, and Photo Island's John Howard playing alongside son David. Very good scratch and handicap contenders. 1 under through 4 holes so far. Hang on. Oh, unbelievable. To which they can now add a gross eagle net albatross. Astonishing golf. And no wonder the boys are happy. That's got to be one of the best shots we've ever seen at this championship. Joe Smith nervously watching on to see if son Reimer can make this birdie. He can. So he and Dad Joe move to 2 under the card through 8 holes. And their playing partners, the Kendricks, not doing too badly either. The Americans at 3 under, coming to terms with this Sherry course nicely, and I'm surprised to see that. A misread from Bryce. The almost ever-present pairing of Andrew Stocks and Dad Howard, both professional golfers, and they just love this opportunity to play together every year at this event. Dad calls it their major. They're certainly in need of a major move at 3 over, and maybe that shot will get things going. Another popular duo at 16, son Callum Tibbs and Dad Andy. 10 points, so +2 through 6 holes. And this looks good from Callum. It is good. Lovely shot from the young man. A much-needed birdie opportunity for Sandmore Golf Club professional Andrew Stocks, with Dad Howard watching on. Well done, Andrew. Join us after the break for the conclusion of round 1 at the 2016 European Father and Son Golf Championships, right here on Sky Sports. Welcome back to Andalusia and Sherry Golf in Jerez for the concluding action from round one of the 2016 European Father and Son Golf Championships here on Sky Sports. In the Scratch tournament, foundations were laid for what could be a very tightly contested championship with no less than 5 teams shooting 5 under. Three-time US Father and Son champions Brian and Bryce Kendrick got off to a solid start, claiming 5th place on countback, but like several teams, contemplating shots left out on the course. Bramall Golf Club pairing of Dad Gareth Bradley and son Charles are regulars at this tournament and on the leaderboards. There was still an element of close but no cigar though, reflecting their fortunes at this event over the last few years. 4th place on 5 under, however, one of the best starts they've made. Could that be a positive omen? After several years in contention, Gary Milner and son Justin finally cracked it, taking last year's Scratch title. And a steady round of golf over the first 18 this year proved that wresting that trophy from their grasp is going to be a tough task for their rivals. Frustration at times for the Milners, but they'll surely be up there come the final reckoning. The Jollies, Dad Andy and son Miles, got off to a good start once again in the Scratch Trophy. The pair, based in Germany at Hamburg-Wenlow Golf Club, are fast becoming the best team to never win a trophy at the European Father and Son event. There's no doubt about it though, they certainly have the game to do it in 2016. Second place then for Miles and Andy, with their short game looking in jolly good nick. Topping the Scratch Trophy leaderboard though were a father and son pair for whom this event presents the only chance for them to play competitive golf together. It was a dream start for European Tour pro Matt Southgate and 5 handicapper dad Ian. The pair from Southend in Essex really clicked to card 5 under and claim top spot on countback. Confirmation then of the round 1 leaderboard in the Scratch Trophy. There really isn't much in it. Just 3 shots covering a very talented top 10 and setting up a second round shootout to savour. The US champions, the Kendricks, the European champions, the Milners and the Southgates, all featuring in that tie on 5 under. Which leads us very neatly to the concluding action from round 1 of the Handicap Trophy. All teams play both competitions simultaneously, remember, so some teams find themselves in contention on both leaderboards, even though no one single team can win both titles. The Bradleys, Milners and Jollies join the Nimmos, Knowles and Howards on 41 Stableford points at 5 under in the top 10 on the Handicap leaderboard. The Nimmos, Dad Nigel and son William, built on that chip-in from William at 18 to secure a solid final total. The Chesterley Street Golf Club pairing will be in the mix for round 2. The Knowles, Dad Darren and son Tommy had a great debut at the Father and Son. The 5 handicapper pairing from Camberley Heath Golf Club took a little time to settle in front of the cameras, but if the putts start dropping in round 2, they'll certainly be a team to keep an eye on. Coordinated outfits and all. As we saw earlier in the show, shot of the day went to Ireland's John Howard, who did this at the par 4 18th. Holing out for an eagle net albatross. Son David equally delighted at the shot that really kick-started their round and left them in 5th place in the Handicap Trophy. 2 teams scored that extra point to make it to 42 in round 1. The Crisps were once again playing to the cameras and playing some good golf into the bargain. Son Peter rattling the flag at 18 to add to the day's entertainment. Dad Martin also getting in on the act, tongue very firmly in cheek. The Crisps, though, very firmly in the running. Joining them on 42 points were Swedish pairing Dad Anders Falk and son John, another team with a few father and son miles on the golfing clock, who regularly feature in the top 10 at this event. The Exshow Golf Club boys dovetailed well on everything except hats to take 3rd on countback. Second place belonged to just one team, Dad Darren McGowan and son Oliver. Pretty in pink as the old song goes, they were certainly playing some handsome golf out on course. An impressive debut for the Beadles Lake pairing, Darren playing off 12 and Oliver playing off 4, showed how that combination of numbers can really work in the Handicap Trophy. It was certainly good enough to compile a competitive score, finishing day 1 with 43 points at 7 under for the tournament. Top honours in the Handicap Trophy though went to Dad Keith Durband and son Adam. They've been great value, and so far the Caldy Golf Club pair have made a dream start to their father and son debut. Some short game nouse from Dad Keith, leaving them with a spring in their step and leaders on 44 points. Confirmation then of that handicap leaderboard. Several teams with the scratch title in their sights have made it into the top 10, that's for sure, but the Durbans and to a certain extent the McGowans will feel they at least have some kind of cushion to take into round 2. Back at the hotel after the ever-popular quiz night and a superb Q&A session with European Tour pro Matthew Southgate, the players got some well-earned rest before heading to Costa Ballena Ocean Golf Club for round 2 of the championships. In some breezy conditions on this coastal course, it was a very different challenge for the players that delivered some entertaining golf on day 2, with plenty of teams feeling that there was a chance to shake things up, and several teams taking the opportunity to do just that. We'll be hearing from some of the teams in a moment, loving their time at the European Father and Son Golf Championships. But first, we spoke to Costa Ballena's general manager, Lola Ruiz Calderon.
For me and for Costa Ballena and all the staff, it's a pleasure to welcome the Father and Son tournament. We have 27 championship holes and 9 holes par 3. From 19 to 27, there are very beautiful holes, but they are a little bit shorter and easier. And the holes from the first 18, they are a little bit more difficult.
We say it every year, but it's the players that are the real stars of this event. Different ages, nationalities and backgrounds, all brought together by this wonderful sport of golf.
We watched your programme last November. We spoke about it previous, and we watched the programme, and that just made our mind up completely. Yep. We booked it up about 2 weeks later, and we've been looking forward to it all year.
The atmosphere is just incredible. You know what I mean? It's just like a proper televised tournament you watch on the TV. It's incredible. It's just the feeling of being here is just brilliant. Playing with my dad as well. We don't get to play a lot of golf with each other because we play at different clubs. So to be here for a week with my dad's brilliant.
I understand you played in the first tournament of the European Father and Son. What were your memories of that one?
Well, I mean, the thing was we did very well. We actually were third after the first day, so we quite kind of liked it. But the memories were that the lads were they always seemed a lot smaller to me, looking back. Now you look around at some of the lads.
They've all grown, haven't they?
They've all grown a lot, so.
And they've got really good.
Yeah, that's
very good.
Yeah.
Absolutely loving it, every minute of it.
What's so special about being able to play father and son golf?
Bonding. I think it's a bonding thing. That's what we've come for. Try and brush some cobwebs aside and try and get on a little bit better than we have. And it's working.
It'll be amazing to win. I think we've won other father and sons tournaments at home that probably don't quite have the stature of being sort of European champions, and that's something that we'd love to win together, and obviously a memory that we'd never forget if we could do it.
So Giuseppe, is it good to be able to play golf with your son?
Play golf con tuo figlio? Yes, very good with my son.
This is our 8th year.
Wow.
Wouldn't miss it for a thing.
Really? It's that special?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. What do you love so much about it?
Well, it's just competing and playing with my son. It's just fantastic because I don't see him all year, and it's like our major championship.
How do you work as a team?
Well, I keep my mouth shut.
Is that true?
That is, yeah, definitely.
He told me to.
Yeah.
Why do you enjoy playing golf with your father, son?
I don't. No.
He drags me out here.
Yeah. This is 1 week of playing totally together and falling out, basically.
Oh, that's why he's got no hair left.
I remember Dad stood right next to you. How do you play as a team?
Dad's more, I would say he's more solid, or he normally goes in the fairway with his drives, and I'm more of a, I hit it, I can outdrive him, but it can go anywhere. He goes first off the tee sometimes and see where he goes, and then I go from there.
I mean, it's just a fun event. It's great to spend time with your lad and meet lots of lovely people.
Yeah.
We played with some fantastic guys this week, some tremendous young golfers, amazing, and it's just a real privilege to be here, to be honest.
How many years have you been coming, boys?
This is our 7th, yeah.
7 years, wow. So what is it about the event that keeps you coming back?
You.
No, we just find it great fun. Everyone here is so friendly, and it's a good chance for both Harry and I to get on together. But we try.
Yeah. Back for another go at the European Father and Sons. What are your memories from last year?
Good and bad, I think.
Yeah.
First 2 days were really good. Last day we struggled a little bit, didn't we? But
Just a tap.
yep, but we did okay yesterday, so we're going to have another good go today, hopefully, aren't we?
Yeah.
Have you got a message for all your other competitors?
Have we?
Please play bad.
That's not very nice. I was supposed to say that.
So, good luck message in Italian.
Bocca al lupo a tutti e divertitevi sempre.
And what does that translate to?
Bocca al lupo? I don't know.
And have you got a message for the other competitors here?
We're underwear.
I like it. I like it.
Might be next job we're underwear.
Join us after the break to hear more from the players and to find out which teams will be heading into the final round as leaders in the European Father and Son Golf Championships, right here on Sky Sports. Welcome back to Andalusia, southern Spain, and second round action from the 2016 European Father and Son Golf Championships here on Sky Sports. Before we find out which teams will be in contention heading into the final round, let's hear from more of the players, starting with the two joint youngest golfers at this year's event, Tom Weeks and Tom Allsworth, both just 11 years of age.
Now, Tom, if we start with you, you are the joint youngest competitor at the event. How does it feel being here?
Well, it's quite amazing actually because the courses are really nice. You've got amazing players standing next to you. I'm really glad I came.
You were 9 when you first started coming.
Yeah.
And what's it like playing with Dad?
Good.
Good.
More than that.
And what's it like playing with Tom?
Oh, it's brilliant because he's better than me already.
I'm enjoying to play with my granddad, and I'm happy that I can play with him, and I'm happy that he's fit enough to play with his 80 years.
Well, there's nothing for me better than to be with my family here. I'm here especially with Emily to play, but also with my son and grandson who are also playing, and it's a joy for me to be here.
Now, James, you've got a bit of previous on Sky Sports, haven't you? Tell us about that.
In the British Par 3 Championships, I got a hole-in-one, and the only hole-in-one I've ever had. So I came here thinking, with Sky Sports being here, thinking, yeah, there's another chance, and yesterday he was very close.
Hit the flag, didn't
Hit
you?
the flag, and it pitched that far away from the hole, and it's on camera, so hopefully we'll be able to see that one.
You're here to win?
Yeah.
Simple answer.
I always want to win. I hate losing. The first tournament went good. I played good golf. Could carry my old father.
Yes, thank you. Now, we always ask you this question, but what's so special about this event? Because you've been back year after year.
For me, it's just playing with my dad. I don't often get to play with him, and then hopefully we can contend this year.
As Luke's got older and bigger, and I used to hold him up, now he's holding me up.
See that.
And he's a bit of a gorilla, so it's lovely to watch him smack the ball out there, much farther than me, and it's just lovely. Unique opportunity to play with the boys, so really enjoy it.
And I guess we ought to open it up because Mum's just be honest, you're a family unit, aren't you? You always travel together to the event. Come on in.
Jan,
here we go.
Jan is our #1 supporter for it. She gets everything ready for us, and she's just invaluable if we're going to do anything out here this week.
I paid him good money to say that. I just go for the belly laughs. You just don't stop laughing. Good or bad golf, it is really good fun.
And do you follow him around the course and watch?
Yes, always. It's taken quite seriously, really.
And Jan, is it interesting seeing your little boy helping his old man out?
Yeah, when you especially see all the footage, the last few years of father and son, growing up, and like you say, a bit taller than us all now, yeah. Sorting his own bag out, hopefully.
6 years in and just seeing the different footage on how Luke has changed is remarkable. So, it's been great fun.
Like you turn up and it's just a good week, just like cracking jokes and playing a bit of golf, really. You don't really have to worry about it.
It's great camaraderie and you meet new people and it's just great fun to play with your son. It's very special, and we get a bit of sunshine as well and dodge the rain, so it's great.
And what's it like playing with Dad?
It can be stressful, but it's good fun to kind of just spend a nice bit of time with your dad in nice weather, so it's quite chilled, so it's nice.
It's like a family reunion every year, and the family gets bigger and bigger. And that's part of the attraction of coming here.
Do you think you can win?
From where we are?
In a few years' time, maybe. We keep trying.
That's the spirit, Nigel, if at first you don't succeed and all that. Time now to find out which teams were successful in round 2 of this year's European Father and Son Golf Championships. The Scratch Trophy first, and comfortable in the breezy conditions, pro Charles Giddins and son Jack have been regulars at this event for a number of years and yet again found their way onto the leaderboard. Level par on day 1, but 3 under on moving day for 8th place. Professional golfer Lee Clark found time in his busy schedule to take a step back from preparations for Q School to spend some quality father and son time with Dad Steve. And after a taxing first day, Lee and Steve added some quality golf to the quality time, romping up the leaderboard with a fantastic 5 under par in round 2. Sticking with the pros, European Tour star Matt Southgate makes no bones about it. He loves this tournament and he's here to try and win the trophy for the man who helped him achieve his dream in professional golf, namely Dad Ian. It didn't quite go to plan in round 2 and the pair relinquished their lead, but did just enough to keep themselves in the frame on 7 under. Andy and Miles Jolly still had their sights firmly set on the Scratch title. 4 under on day 2, 9 under for the tournament. Could this be their year? It was certainly the Milliners' year in 2015, and the reigning champions were mounting a strong defence of their title. Their scorecard was a carbon copy of the Jollies, 5 under, 4 under, but the champs set themselves some very high standards, and I can tell you, they were not happy bunnies at 9 under with 18 to play. Conversely though, Reimer Smith and Dad Joe were ecstatic. The 2011 Scratch champions threw in a superb 6 under second round to claim second place on Countback. That's not the end of the story with regard to the Scratch though, more of that in a moment. In the Handicap Trophy, there was all sorts going on. Dad Philip Bailey and son James really turned it on at Costa Ballena, and along with the Smiths and David and Tony Fitzgerald, their 42-point second round moved them into the top 10 and into contention. James has ambitions of playing university golf in the USA, but for the moment he was helping Dad write this chapter in the Bailey's golfing story. Day 1 leaders, the Durbans, found out what most golfers find out at multi-day tournaments. Consistency is the key. 44 points on day 1 was a superb total and went some way to protecting their day 2 37. Still in the mix, but lacking real momentum into the final round. The human dynamo Martin Crisp was all about momentum in the second round, with son Peter providing some classy touches. 40 points on day 1 followed by 42 today, good enough for 4th place on Countback. Pitching and chipping has now become a trademark for John Howard. Son David also put in a great shift on day 2, and the Photo Island superstars found themselves going into the final round amongst the favourites for silverware. But one team dominated both events on day 2. Take a bow, Gareth Bradley and son Charles, who turned in one of the best rounds in European father and son history. The Bramall Golf Club pair shot a fabulous 8 under par to propel themselves to the top of both leaderboards. The Bradley Express was flying. They'll be hoping the next stop is victory. You'd be foolish to bet against them. A 4-shot advantage heading into the final round, one of the biggest leads ever taken into the last 18 of the Scratch tournament. The rest of the field surely just playing for pride. Even in the handicap, the Bradleys hold a 2-shot advantage, but remember, one team can't win both trophies, so technically the Howards, Jollies and Crisps are in pole position for the handicap. Let's hear from the leaders.
Yeah, we just dovetailed really well, didn't we? We had 4 birdies each and just happened to be in different holes, so that's the best way to do it, isn't it?
All one long putt on 16, which was our front 9, and that just got us going really. You know, we had 3 on the run there and 4 on the run on the back 9, so...
I've been too vocal about it, but we could have had a couple more as well.
Well played, boys, but will the Bradleys be laughing at the end of the tournament? The stage is set for a potentially dramatic finish to this year's event, and I can tell you it gets very tasty indeed on the last day. Join us next time on Sky Sports for final round action from the 2016 European Father and Son Golf Championships to find out who walks away with the trophies. We'll see you then. Welcome to our second visit to the 2016 European Father and Son Golf Championships here on Sky Sports. 50 teams and families from 11 countries arrived in Andalusia, southern Spain, to challenge for the Scratch and Handicap trophies across 3 rounds of championship golf. in a tournament that brings golfers together from a range of nationalities, ages and backgrounds. From juniors just starting their golfing journey to seasoned club players and professionals, with that one common denominator, all brought together by the sport of golf. It was a field that included European Tour pro Matt Southgate and Dad Ian, Challenge Tour pro Lee Clark and his dad Steve, and the defending European father and son scratch champions pro Gary Milliner and son Justin, who won back in 2015, all here to enjoy the tournament and play alongside an eclectic field of father and son teams. Last time at the father and son, the teams began this year's golfing odyssey at Sherry Golf in Jerez for round one of this 54-hole tournament. The teams play in the scratch and handicap tournaments simultaneously, and it was an explosive start in both events. 5 teams went 5 under the card in the Scratch Trophy, the US champions the Kendricks and defending European champions the Milliners in that leading group, but it was the Southgates that eventually topped a very busy leaderboard on countback. In the Handicap Trophy, it was slightly more cut and dry. Dad Keith Durband and Charity Day champion son Adam kept their momentum rolling into the main tournament with a superb 44-point tally to lead into round 2. Keith so nearly making that score even better, but still guiding he and Adam to the top of the tree. For round 2, the teams headed for Costa Ballena Ocean Golf Club, just north of Cadiz on the Atlantic coast of Andalusia, where one team dominated the day to lead the championships. 2 handicapper dad Gareth Bradley and scratch golfer son Charles put on a masterclass, shooting a fantastic 8 under par to top both leaderboards at 13 under in the Scratch Trophy, with 84 points for 12 under in the handicap. There was a real symmetry to their performance, with 4 birdies each, 4 on the front 9 and 4 on the back 9. So after 36 holes, that leaves the leaderboards looking like this. In the Scratch event, the Bradleys take an incredible 4-shot lead into the final round, leaving defending champions the Milliners in that chasing pack. No one team can win both trophies though, so in the handicap we can look past the Bradleys for the moment, leaving the Howards, Jollies and the Crisps as the leaders, heading into what looks like it could be a fascinating last 18 holes at this year's championships. So that's how things stand at the tournament, and coming up we'll have highlights coverage from some fantastic final round action as the teams head for a thrilling finish at Costa Ballena in the midst of the traditional party atmosphere at the 18th. And Matthew Southgate takes time out to talk to us about life in the big show. That's all coming up on today's programme, but time now to get the action underway and meet some of the title challengers. In the Scratch Trophy, Lee Clark and Dad Steve, playing alongside the Southgates in the final round, knew they had their work cut out, but that second round 5 under par was proof that they could possibly go low enough to challenge. They set about the task, trying not to look too far ahead, but despite scrambling well for a couple of pars, a bogey at 3 was a step backwards that they didn't need. After an incredible year establishing himself on the European Tour, Matt Southgate should be at the father and son, relaxing and playing without pressure. However, he admits that the pressure is what he needs to help him focus on his game. This stunning approach at 3, yielding their first birdie to go to 8 under. The goal of winning the Scratch Trophy for his dad Ian seemed to be doing the trick so far in the final round. As for the early movers in the Handicap Trophy, one pair eclipsed all with their golf and their birdie celebrations. Dad Digby Long and son Mark started the final day on 77 points, but 4 birdies on the front 9 took them to 101 points at 9 under through 10 holes, something certainly worth celebrating. And so to the contenders going out in the final groups. In the Scratch Trophy, Dad Andy Jolly and son Miles have been making the journey to Spain to compete in the father and son for several years now. Andy, a teaching pro in Germany, always gives a good account of himself, while in recent years Miles has developed into a very promising golfer. Level par through 3 holes meant they were still in the hunt. The defending Scratch champions Gary and Justin Milliner found themselves in a very different situation to 2015, when they took the trophy by leading from the front throughout the final round. In 2016, chasing the leading team was the challenge, a challenge they looked eager to take on. This fantastic birdie at 3 from Dad Gary, the first step on the way to closing that 4-shot gap on the Bradleys. The Milliners in no mood to let that hard-earned European father and son scratch title go just yet. 5 years ago, Dad Joe Smith and son Reimer took an emotional victory in the Scratch tournament, and they were looking great value again this year. Playing in the final group alongside the leaders, the Bradleys, meant they could keep their eyes very firmly on the coveted prize, starting their day with a par to stay at 9 under. For Gareth and Charles Bradley, though, it was a case of catch us if you can.
In contention, how are you feeling?
Great. You know, at the beginning of the week, if somebody had said to us we're going to be 4 ahead going up into the last day, we wouldn't have believed them. So it's a great position to be in. Didn't get loads of sleep, but really looking forward to it. Yeah, both had a good season. You know, won a few things, got the handicaps down. So we were looking forward to when we got here. Yeah, exceeding expectations at the moment. So we're going to carry it on.
That fantastic 64 8 under par yesterday by Gareth and Charles proved to be something very special indeed. But this is golf, and anything worth winning has to be worked for. This is how things stand in the Scratch. The Bradleys parred the first to stay at 13 under, with the Milliners closing the gap to 3 shots through 3 holes. It's set up for an intriguing final day. The Handicap Trophy was also set for a great shootout over the last 18 holes. The Durbans, Dad Keith and son Adam, made a dream start to their debut at the European father and son, topping the leaderboard at the end of round 1. And the points were flowing again over the opening holes with birdies at 1 and 4. But a blob at 5 unfortunately put the brakes on. Playing alongside the Durbans were the Baileys, Dad Phil and son James. A feature of their tournament play that never fails to entertain was once again present over the opening holes. Phil making the pars and James coming in with a spectacular birdie to take them to 90 points through 5. An established team at this tournament. Could this be their year? Dad Martin Crisp and son Peter are playing in their 7th European father and son tournament and enjoying their best performance ever in 2016.
Slightly apprehensive. But excited at the same time, obviously. It's a big day for us. We've been here 7 times now, and it'd be great for us to go on and win it. Our best result so far, I think it's 8th or 7th or something. So certainly to improve on that, and if we can go on and win it, hopefully we can do that.
Pars might not always be gold dust in handicap golf, but 4 points through 2 holes certainly settled the nerves to stay at 10 under. And alongside the Crisps, the best of the Irish teams at this year's event, the Howards.
Plan for this final round?
Keep 2 balls alive, give ourselves 2 chances each green. That's all we can do.
Yeah. And what would it mean to win this title?
Oh, bragging rights forever. Bragging rights forever.
No early opportunity to brag for the Howards, but like the Crisps, a couple of nice pars to take them to 86 points and 10 under through 2 holes, which leaves the handicap leaderboard looking like this. The Bradleys still top both competitions, but can't win both trophies, remember, so that 4-way tie in 2nd place could be where all the final round action happens, with the Longs heading for a decent clubhouse finish to at least ask some questions. Coming up after the break, we speak to European Tour player Matt Southgate about his amazing golfing year, and the final round action from the European Father and Son Golf Championships continues right here on Sky Sports. Welcome back to the 2016 European Father and Son Golf Championships from a bright but rather breezy Costa Bellena Ocean Golf Club. The teams are all out on course hunting the Scratch and Handicap trophies, so let's get to the final round action with your commentators Toby Marsden and Phil Yates.
Thanks, Simon. Yes, this a day of pride and emotion. Also nerves. Now Gareth Bradley, 53-year-old, made a nerve-settling par on the first. This for birdie at the second.
Yes, it's an uphill putt. They've got a chance to extend their lead to go 5 clear. Oh!
Toby, that was cruel. And when stuff like that happens early on, the little demon in the mind says, is this going to be my day, or will the golfing gods conspire against me? Well, they certainly haven't conspired against Matthew Southgate this year. And another birdie on the Southgate's tally. Will the European Father and Sons title be another distinction for Matthew in a golden 2016?
Here's Team Ireland, the Howards in contention. Got a very tricky downhill chip shot here. And he's played that beautifully. Very nice.
I think the technical term, educated hands. A PhD in chipping there.
That's a nice par for 2 points. That keeps them in the hunt in the handicap trophy.
behind the trees on the par 5. This is Andy Jolly, a Brit based in Germany where he's a golf pro.
That's a nice shot there. Sets himself up for a birdie putt.
These are the crisps. Putting for par. Oh, and it's always a good feeling when you salvage something you believe you might not have. Trouble averted.
And our first look here of Joe Smith, past champion 2011. He's a professional boxer, Phil.
So, regardless of how many putts he misses, I will not be criticising him in any way.
I suggest you don't.
They're trailing by 4 shots through 2 holes, but still well capable of supplying the knockout punch.
Now here's a very difficult shot here for Gary Milner, defending champion, downhill. Wow.
I'll tell you what, Toby, this is no exaggeration. Any golfer in the world would have been proud of that one. Now this is young James Bailey, aspirations of a college scholarship in the United States, making birdie there on 7, and he and Philip, his father, very much in line for honours in the Handicap Trophy. Now in terms of his status within the game, this is the star of the show, Matt Southgate, but he and his dad made a bogey at 7. So the European Tour star looking to rebound.
Oh, nice shot. Leave himself a 15-foot uphill putt there for birdie.
And talking of which, slightly lengthier. This for the Jollies would be very welcome indeed. Just slightly low, but this pairing has got plenty to talk about. All of them are based in Germany.
Yes, the Jollies and the Milners are both club professional, teaching professionals in Germany, Phil.
Now Reimer Smith, open stance, needs elevation. Front bunker to get over. He's negotiated it almost perfectly.
Our defending champion, Justin Milner. He's got this for birdie. Oh, bad luck.
Well, he seemed to walk after that in disgust. Obviously, had it dropped, he would have been a little embarrassed, but I think he wouldn't have minded in the slightest.
So it's our first look at Charles Bradley here. This is the 3rd. He's got this for par to hold their lead. And that's a very brave putt. Well done.
What's forthcoming? We must not underestimate the pressure that all of these pairings are under. As Reimer Smith tidies up there. The approach deserved a birdie, which was forthcoming on the 9th green, Southgate. Quite a quick putt, this. Nowhere else. This is a man who is living the dream, and he's putting and playing with perspective.
The last few years have been pretty tough for me. I've been on and off the Challenge Tour, and obviously this year I've managed to go a bit more of a step forwards with my career on the European Tour, and I've had some great results. And last year I was diagnosed with testicular cancer in July, and that put a bit of a hold on things with the golf, and I'm just really glad that that's all done now, and everything seems to be moving in the right direction. I'd say a big highlight was probably Tour School last year, because without that happening, none of the other stuff in recent weeks and months could have happened, and that was a seriously emotional week for me. You know, I was like a warrior out there at Tour School, and I had to go and get my job done, and the emotion of that last putt going in, I was so overwhelmed with joy that I'd actually gone out and done my job the way I needed to do it. And I love being on the European Tour. I love that way of life, and I look forward to all the tournaments that I play in, and it never really feels like a job, although I do work extremely hard. It's always a pleasure to be playing golf for a living. And I think at first you're like a rabbit in the headlights. You sort of see sort of Henrik Stenson walk past, you're like, oh, there's Henrik Stenson. But then that becomes more normal, and obviously when you start looking up a few leaderboards and you're beating some good players and you see some of them names behind you, it fills you with a belief that you belong out there, and that you can compete against the best players in the world. I just seem to have got in the habit of playing really well in the bigger events, which is obviously a good habit to get into, but to be that high up in some of the tournaments that I've finished, 12th at the Open was just unbelievable. I've always thought that I had the ability to do that, but I didn't quite think I'd do it as fast as I have. I'm sort of a strong believer that I'll probably play the best golf of my career when I'm sort of mid-30s, early 30s, and to do it before my 30th birthday, to be in the mix on a Sunday at an Open was just really special, and I've backed that up with some really solid finishes in some other big events. It's all well and good having one great week, but to be able to knock out 5-6 weeks in a couple of months that are really worth having, that's what it's all about.
We'll hear from Matt later in the programme. Now, what a round being put together by the Lungs, Digby and Mark, but the leaders of the Handicap Trophy by a single shot at the moment, the Bradleys.
You can't win both championships, and we've got quite an interesting leaderboard here because the Milliners and the Bradleys are in contention in both championships, so it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out at the end.
Now that's Peter Crisp giving himself an outside birdie chance on 5. The 4 handicapper from Stocks Golf Club. I must say, Toby, I like that young man's swing, Lee Clark.
Yeah, he's a very good golfer, and you do have to wonder what's the difference between himself and Matt at this level.
And this year, Southgate has gained a wealth of experience, but when you're under the watchful eye of your father, that's a different kind of pressure.
That's a great shot there. Sets himself up for an eagle putt.
7th time in the event for the Crisps. Oh, and they're flying. Resplendent in matching outfits today, which were posted to them. They forgot to put them in their luggage, would you believe?
Matt Southgate at the 10th, par 5, eagle putt. Chance to make a really big move here.
Well, he had the line, but not the length, mind you, one has to say, in this 2-man better ball format. What a man to have on your side, a world-class golfer. And now look, only 3 shots down, 8 to play. The Southgates are marching on.
Lee Clark also for a birdie, and they're trailing the Southgates by 2.
So, a few teams were starting to rock and roll out there on the course. In the Scratch Trophy, the team we've now dubbed the best pair to never win a title at this event, the Jollies, were trying everything once again. But despite some great play tee to green, unusually for them, the putts weren't dropping. They birdied 8, bogeyed 9, and then had to settle for birdie at 10 after this eagle putt stayed up, leaving them 1 shot better off than when they started, at 10 under through 11 holes. Joe and Reimer Smith are no strangers to success at this event, and they came here to win again in 2016. They made a great start with a birdie at 3 to move to 10 under, and then hit the doldrums. Becalmed on that score through 9 holes with 6 pars in a row. For a 5 handicapper, playing in a scratch tournament is always going to be a test of your game, but after pitching right next to the pin at 11, Matt Southgate's dad, as Ian is now known in golfing circles, knocked this putt in to make it 6 birdies and 1 bogey for the team, putting them in the mix at 11 under through 13 holes. Ian taking a bow before returning to his chauffeur-driven buggy. Drive on, Matthew. There's a good man. You've got to hand it to defending champions, the Milliners, showing some real fight at 12 under through 12 holes. 1 shot off the lead and with 1 hand, still clinging on to that Scratch Trophy. Despite a 4-shot lead at the start of this final round, nobody said it was going to be easy for the Bradleys. They didn't put a foot wrong through the front 9, par golf all the way, leaving them exactly where they started at 13 under, but only too aware that they were very close to having some company at the top of the Scratch leaderboard. And talking of that leaderboard, how about this? We've got a real shootout on our hands for the Scratch Trophy over the back 9. The Bradleys still in pole position, but the Milliners, Southgate, Smiths and Jollies will fancy their chances if Gareth and Charles can't find some pressure-relieving birdies. On to the Handicap Trophy now, where Digby and Mark Long couldn't keep their barnstorming round on track. After 6 birdies through 13 holes, they finished with 2 bogeys, 2 birdies and a par at 18. Still a fantastic round of 41 points to lead in the clubhouse on 118 though. Ireland's top challengers were the Howards, with John proving time and again that his net albatross in round 1 was no fluke. 2 birdies took he and son David to 12 under at one point, but a smelly double bogey blob at 5 and a further bogey at 8 dropped them to a frustrating 9 under through 10 holes. Talk to any of the dads playing in this tournament and they will tell you that if you can stand on the fairway and watch your boy hit golf shots like this, it really doesn't get much better than that. And if you can roll in the odd putt to help the cause, you're in perfect day territory. So it's all good then for dad Philip Bailey and son James on 10 under through 12 with an impressive 5 birdies and 1 bogey so far. And Martin and Peter Crisp were also still in the hunt for honours. A birdie at 10 to follow that fabulous putt by son Peter at 5 meant they clocked up 104 points through 10 holes to share the handicap trophy lead at 12 under. And that means we've got all sorts of variables coming into play on the leaderboard. So here goes, with the Bradleys leading the scratch, the Milliners and the Crisps are top dogs in the handicap. And don't forget the Clarks, Jollies, Baileys, Howards and Smiths, with enough holes left to play themselves into the mix. That's a lot of teams still in the hunt for the handicap. Yet another reason to join us after the break for more great action from the European Father and Son Golf Championships, right here on Sky Sports.
Welcome back everyone to the 2016 European Father and Sons Golf Championship at the magnificent Costa Ballena Ocean Golf Club in Cadiz, southern Spain. There you can see the Bradleys still in front in the Scratch Trophy. All groups now on the back 9. Just one ahead of the Milliners, the defending champions. As for the Smiths, they could do with a birdie here. And father has told son, use the putter.
How about that for a shot? That was clever.
Well, it takes a lot to impress the Bradleys. He's impassive, but that really was imaginative.
Well, they need this to give themselves any chance to still win the Scratch Championship. And that is a great up and down.
And Toby, the reaction speaks 1,000 words. This is so important to so many.
Trust me, they want to win this.
Now, Gareth Bradley makes his living as an area sales manager. Today, not had his quota of birdies, but finally, they're off that unlucky 13 under mark, and they remain the tournament leaders.
Here's our co-leaders in the Handicap Championship, the Crisps. And this needs to go in for par if they want to stay there. Oh, bad luck.
Well, that was a double whammy. Now playing catch-up, and you saw the bobble. It was a matter of millimetres.
The Southgates are making a charge here. They've reduced the lead to 2. This is the par 3 14th.
And coming down from that great height, that might well have plugged. The Milliners on 12 for birdie. That, one has to say, looked more than a little nervy.
It's the Clarks here. They've fallen away in the last couple of holes and dropped back to 7 under, so I think it's probably fair to say they may have left it too late.
That is all true, but what a shot there. A tough par 3 in these windy conditions. Tremendous. Now on the greens, the fortunes of the Jollies haven't been too good, but that one went in for 19-year-old Miles, who's been playing the game since he was 7.
This looks a tough bunker shot, Phil.
It's all about balance and keeping the head down. Very good. Now, Mr. Howard Sr. always has an embarrassment of riches. Who does he bring? Which one of his 2 sons? Both talented golfers? Well, this year, David got the call up, and he's not letting Dad down.
It's Gary Milliner at the tough 13th hole by the ocean. It's all into the wind here. He's probably got about 200 yards. He's using his little railer club here.
Well, they say in the breeze, swing with ease, and Milliner did exactly that. Tremendous result. That was a formality. 5 behind, 4 to play. Have to say, just a little too much to do, surely.
Very important putt here to get his up and down, keep the momentum. Great putt, great up and down.
And that's how professional golfers glue a good score together week in, week out.
Gary Milner for his birdie putt off that fantastic approach. This will be some 3 if he can knock this in and take a major move in the tournament as well. Great putt.
Well, you know, the later you get in any round, in any golf competition, the more important it is to hold putts. The Milners answering the call.
David for birdie. Yes, well done, young man.
And trailing by 4 shots in the handicap trophy with 6 to play, not out of this yet, although the Milners still in pole position. Now at the top, the Bradleys have been joined by the Milners, but one positive, Charles is already very close on 13. Gareth looking to give them 2 opportunities for birdie. Oh, and indeed he does. He's been playing golf, you know, for 47 years. This arguably the most important round of his life.
Miles Jolly, scratch golfer, playing very well today, but hasn't been holding the putts, and let's hope he can roll that one in to stop the trend.
Well, on 16, Lee Clark wants to continue a theme. He knocked it stiff on 14, the previous par 3 on the back 9. How about this 135-metre shorter hole? Oh, he's dialed in his Lee Clark. Over the water, so what?
That's nice to see. 2 opposing teams, but you can see they're still friendly at the end of it. That's nice.
I thought it was a novel way of testing the softness of his ball. Well, the Jollies finally warming up on the greens. Now with both Bradleys close on 13, vital for the Milners to make this at 15.
Well done.
Yes, joint leadership just about retained.
Gareth Bradley with this birdie putt, here to take back the outright lead again. Great putt, well done.
What a duo, these two. The excellent second shot of his son, not required. Now, he was in the sand on 14, got up and down okay, did Matt Southgate. But by his standards, that was not good. Just a little flippy at the ball. He will be disgusted with himself. Now, this is the putting stroke of 60-year-old Martin Crisp. The conventional wisdom is that as you get older, putting nerves become frayed. Maybe that's true in that case. They are now 4 shots behind in the handicap trophy, 3 holes to play. Aspirations gone.
Big putt here. This has simply got to go in if these guys are going to win this tournament. Great up and down.
Yes, on the golf course and off it, the Southgates always prove just how important family is.
I don't think I'd be where I am in the world of golf without my dad. He's been incredible support. He's filled me with confidence, and it's a roller coaster being a golfer, and to have someone like my dad as your rock to fall back on, he's just been incredible. So to be able to come out and play in the father and sons, it's something that we really value in our relationship, and it's something that we really look forward to coming and doing every year. It's a special thing to come and do. 2 years ago, my niece, she wasn't even 2, and she was diagnosed with leukemia. She spent a long time in Great Ormond Street, and they put her on a 2-year course of chemotherapy, which is coming towards the end now of her treatment, and obviously she's done fantastically well, and it's really hit my family hard, and it's certainly opened my eyes up to how special my family are to me. And we started doing some charity stuff, and we've had people from all over the world do special events and golf tournaments and skydives, and people do crazy stuff just to raise money for Hattie's Heroes. It's a really special thing to be able to watch complete strangers come together and all fight for the same cause. We can't thank everybody enough.
Back to the action as the teams headed down the closing stretch, but first just time to congratulate Richard and Alex Ford, winners of the Norman Taylor Plate for 2016, played off the 10th tee at Costa Ballena. The Fords taking the trophy with a great score of 39 points. In the handicap trophy, so many teams were in the mix, but it was dad Philip Bailey and son James who held it together under the pressure. Just another day at the office, eh, Phil? 120 points their final total, well worth celebrating, but still 1 point off the eventual winning score, which temporarily stood with the Milliners. More on that later. So that brings us to the shootout for the Scratch Trophy. Dad Joe Smith and son Reimer hit the back nine with their best shot, but just couldn't punch their way into contention, finishing on 11 under in 4th place. There was an air of resignation about the Southgates at 18. A superb 4 birdies on the back nine meant a round of 6 under to take them to 13 under for the tournament. And despite claiming possession of the clubhouse lead, you could see it in the body language as they left the green. They didn't think it would be enough. And to a certain extent, they were right. The defending champions, the Milliners, though, couldn't make another birdie after moving to 13 under with 5 to play. So Justin was left to make a pressure putt at 18 to par their way to the Scratch co-leadership with the Southgates back in the clubhouse. Leaving the Bradleys, who at 14 under needed a par down the last to be crowned the champions. Charles' tee shot into the water, though, passed all the pressure to Dad Gareth. He managed to punch his approach under the wind, but found a tricky lie, and as the old saying goes, there was still a bit of meat on that bone, and Gareth knew it. A pensive and thoughtful walk to the green then for the Bradleys, as both the Southgates and the Milliners began to ponder a lifeline in the form of a possible playoff. So the final exam paper with its 2-part question was on the table for Gareth, up and down from here to take the Scratch Trophy, and part 1 was answered successfully, leaving that part for the win. Let's get back to your commentator, Phil Yates.
3 days of fierce competition, 54 holes. It all comes down to this, and the only question: will Gareth grab the glory? Agonisingly left. It's a 3-team playoff. The Milliners, the Southgates, and the Bradleys, who had a 4-shot lead at one stage.
It's the tournament that just keeps giving, and there are still several outcomes possible in both the Scratch and Handicap trophies. 13 under for the Southgates and Milliners, good enough to force a playoff after that bogey by the Bradleys down the last. It's a dramatic finish in prospect, and that's not the end of the story by a long stretch, because the Milliners at 13 under lead the Handicap trophy. You can't win both, remember. So with a final potential twist to this glorious 2016 tale, if the Milliners win the Scratch playoff, the Baileys, Jollies and Bradleys will head to the 18th tee to play off for the Handicap trophy. It's all happening at the European Father and Son Golf Championships, and coming up, the 3 teams in contention for the Scratch Trophy go head-to-head in the playoff after the break, right here on Sky Sports. Welcome back to a dramatic situation here at the 2016 European Father and Son Golf Championships. Just before the break, a par down the last would have been good enough for Dad Gareth Bradley and son Charles to win the Scratch Trophy. Gareth left with this pressure putt to take the title. But it slid by, leaving the Bradleys stranded on 13 under and in a 3-way playoff for the trophy, with the defending champions Gary and Justin Milliner and European Tour pro Matt Southgate desperate to win this title for Dad Ian, the man he credits for his golfing success. It's playoff time for the Scratch Trophy. The Bradleys headed back to the 18th tee to join the Milliners and Southgates for a playoff where, under tournament rules, the aggregate scores of both players will count for the win. First time down the 18th was a tense affair, and although Matt Southgate and several of the players blazed stunning drives to the middle of the fairway, on the green nobody could find the real magic. Matt was unable to deliver the birdie Dad Ian was wishing for. Perfect line, but just short on pace. And it wasn't the only chance that went begging. Gary Milliner in, then out. For the rest, it was all about scrambling to keep their team in the playoff, and boy did they scramble. It was warrior time for Ian Southgate from the trap. And yet more drama for the Bradleys. Son Charles watching on, with Dad Gareth needing to make a big one to stay in the championships. And Gareth showing massive character to do just that. So all three teams head back to the 18th tee, and as we wait for them to start playoff 2, let's talk with Manuel Ortega of the Andalucia Tourism Board, our wonderful hosts for the father and son.
Tell us how special it is to welcome events like this to Andalucia.
Well, we are very proud of hosting the European Father and Son Golf Tournament. For us, it's a great opportunity to showcase all the opportunities that offers a great golf destination such as Andalucia, to host great tournaments such as the European Father and Son. Andalucia, we could say, is a very special place where to really enjoy a golf experience. You have more than 100 golf courses of different styles, different types, different landscapes, where you can really feel the authentic Spanish way of life. You can feel and enjoy mild weather all year round. And of course, you can also enjoy a great destination for so many activities. We want to enhance our position in the market as one of the prominent golf destinations in continental Europe. And I think one very good example is the support we give to the European Father and Son Golf Tournament. Next year it will be the 10th anniversary, and we will have again the opportunity to host this great event in another area of Andalusia, and we will be able to showcase this great and wide destination.
And we're here at the tournament, it's the final day, it's gone to a playoff. Are you enjoying the golf?
Well, yes, I think it's been very exciting. This is a very good format to really give emotion till the last minute, and I think all people are having good fun, are enjoying, and of course we will continue during the gala dinner this evening. All people that are watching and enjoying the program and this tournament, that we are open all the year, that we are very happy to invite you all to come here, and really you will be able to check the authentic golf experience in Andalusia, the golf courses, the weather, and all the gastronomy and the complementary activities you can enjoy here.
Well, you've certainly made us very welcome. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. It has been a pleasure. Thank you.
And time to get back to your commentators, Phil Yates and Toby Marsden.
Thanks, Simon. Yes, 56 holes now played in this tournament. Toby, tell us about the 18th at Costa Blanca.
Yeah, 18th is a really great finishing hole. It's a dogleg right to left, 420 yards. Today it's going to be playing very difficult because it's straight into the teeth of the wind. So par 4 will be a good score.
Ian Southgate has got painful knees. It was a little agricultural, that swing, but I'll tell you what, to get it into the greenside bunker in these conditions, no mean feat. Not bad at all.
No, he'll be pleased with that. He's got a chance at par.
Now for Gareth Bradley, this is 4-iron, and the tree in front of him means just maybe an alignment issue. No surprise, that's out to the right and catching the card path as well. It leaves a horrible chip.
Yeah, that's going to be tough to get up and down from there. Gary Milner, also 4-iron. That looks like it's a touch right to me. Yeah, so he also isn't on the green.
How about his son? This is Justin. The body language also suggests right. Ooh, ouch. Off the buggy. Down in an area where it's going to be so difficult to get up and down for 4. But Matthew Southgate has missed the fairway. There's mud on the ball. He's trying to sling it right to left around that tree onto the green.
I think that's gone right as well. Right. Can you believe this? Everyone's out to the right.
It's not out of bounds, but Southgate thinks it is, and he thinks he's cost his father the tournament.
Covered him up, wasn't it? Oh, yeah, so see it sort of 20 yard up and he's gone out straight. Is that out of bounds then? Don't know, mate. Not sure.
He's absolutely gutted.
Charles Bradley has struck the best drive of the lot. 6-iron in. But a little handsy on that one. Suggests it's going left. Indeed, and he joins Ian Southgate. in that trap.
Yeah, but his is a little bit harder. His is sitting slightly above his feet. That's bad luck.
Still anyone's title as the armada of buggies approaches the home green.
Matt Southgate here has got a very, very difficult shot. He's got very little green to play with. The wind's working against him. He's done pretty good from there. In fact, he's done very well.
When the nerves are raw, this kind of shot is such a test. Took the elevated route, committed to it, and I tell you what, that from Gareth Bradley is simply terrific. Heard him say actually as he walked away, maybe the shot of his life.
Another similar shot here. This is equally difficult. I think he's hit that fat, yeah. Oh dear.
Just in, might just be out of the reckoning after that. Has to rely on good old Dad.
This has got to go in. How about that?
You can't get closer. That was the definition of miraculous. What an effort.
Oh my God.
Well, the spectators being royally entertained. And you have to wonder, is this the last throw of the dice?
It's got to go in.
Oh, goal shot. Great shot, son.
Oh, great effort. How about that for two bunker shots?
Ian Southgate would love one similar.
No, he's stabbed on that. It's short and he's angry with himself. They needed that close.
What a scene. I can tell you, nerves are frayed.
Well, the Bradleys have still got the best chance if they can make pars apiece, so he's got to get this close, but it's not going to be easy. Ball above the feet, as anyone knows, and that's what can happen.
The club dug into the sand and not the desired reaction at all. So forget the drives, the approaches, the chips. It's now all distilled into a putting competition.
Ian to go first. It looks like he snatched at that, and it looks like it's short.
Yeah, it's a telltale sign of tension. More follow through than backswing.
So he'll knock that in for a 5. That will be 1 over.
But Toby, that's a perfectly respectable score for the amateur, the 5 handicapper, given conditions on this closing hole today.
Absolutely, but if they're going to win it, Matt's going to have to hold this putt for par.
When Matt finished 4th at the Irish Open this year at the K Club, that man was willing in every putt. This time, though, he's got a personal involvement. The Southgates ecstatic, and remember, with both balls counting in this playoff, they are now the favourites to capture the title. We'll see a lot of that over the next few moments. Hugs and lengthy ones.
Dad's crying. Look at the emotion. Unbelievable.
So vital for this to find gravity.
Bobbled on him. Oh, that's so unlucky. They've had no luck today. They really haven't.
In yesterday's round, they shot 64 in really difficult conditions. Most thought they were going to win, but it now seems as though they might be denied. It's all down to Dad. And I think the Southgates are appreciating the strength of the position they're in. After that, the Bradleys are eliminated. What a great attempt in their quest for the silverware, but ultimately beaten in a playoff.
Yeah, it's very sad. They've played absolutely fantastic, but only one can win this championship.
And to retain a chance, this has to go in for the Milliners. Very different scenario on the 18th for them. Last year, this hole was a victory parade. Now it's a last chance saloon.
pushed it.
Matt and Ian Southgate, father and son, this week, brothers in arms.
12th at the Open and a season of European Tour success, but this is a special moment in time for the Southgates that they will never forget. Commiserations then to the Bradleys, so close to the win in 2016. And well done to the Milliners, 2 trophies in 2 years. Last year's Scratch champions are this year's handicap winners. And finally, congratulations to Ian and Matt Southgate, the 2016 European Father and Son Scratch champions. The trophy presented by Manuel Ortega from our hosts, the Andalusia Tourist Board. It's been another fantastic year at the Father and Son, but our thoughts now turn to 2017 and the 10th anniversary of the championships. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you for the big celebrations next year. For more information, go to www.fatherandsongolf.co.uk.